Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome again to another edition of Sci-Fi Model Action Live Hangout. As usual, we've got a great group of modelers with us here tonight, and we're ready to kick it around the round table here and start doing our show with our introductions first. So I'll start off at my extreme left and introduce Armando Della Cabada first. How you doing tonight, Armando?
Doing great, Boyd. Hope everyone's doing fine. My name's Armando de la Cabada. I live in South Florida. Run my channel, DLC Model Builders, and working on a couple of things this evening, and I'm happy to be here.
All right, Armando, glad to have you again. And up next, we've got Bob Busking. How you doing tonight, Bob?
Pretty good. How's everybody tonight?
Excellent. Where are you? Introduce yourself again, Bob. Where are you from, and what are you working on?
Right now, I'm not working on anything. I finished up the Enterprise E the other night. Just west of Dave, out west of St. Louis in Missouri.
Awesome. Can't believe you're not working on anything, Bob. You're usually nonstop.
Tomorrow. I'll start on another one tomorrow.
Okay. All right. And next we've got our friend from Sci-Fi Fans and Modelers United, Chris Whitford. How you doing tonight, Chris?
I'm doing good. As Boyd said, my name is Chris Whitford. I run a small community called Sci-Fi Fans and Modelers United. I also have a YouTube channel named Christopher Whitford, and I have to say it is finally over. The Sci-Fi Model Action Spring Build Contest has finally come to a close. And I couldn't be more happier with everybody that's done the success and has placed and won. To everybody, I say congratulations and a big thumbs up.
Yeah, ditto that. And we're going to get into a little bit of that here as we go through the show tonight. Want to mention our winners and everything. So, yep, it was a tremendous success, and can't wait till next year. I'm sure it's going to be even bigger and better this next spring, the next one we do. So that was great. And up next, we've got Dave Pashtag. How you doing tonight, Dave? Take it away, buddy.
Oh, hang on, I had something running there. My name's Dave Pashtag. I'm from Grand City, Illinois, and working right now on the Galactica Raider, the big one. And I have a YouTube channel under my name, Dave Pashtag, and happy to be here tonight. Hope everybody's doing well.
Glad to have you with us again, Dave. And next we've got our friend Destroyed Viper, known as Rob. How you doing tonight, Rob?
Hey, folks. Rob Elwell, getting very active on my own YouTube channel under Destroyed Viper. Presently, I am sorting through this bundle of beautiful electronics that our good friend Jerry Hitchcock sent. And my current project is also the studio scale classic Raider from Moses. A few of you may have seen my entry video for that build where I was saying, you know, the resistance is alive. Get this message to Dr. Delicabada because moderator.
Yeah, that was a funny video, Rob.
Yeah, I got me a new camera and I'm having a blast with it. So if you guys can bear with the silliness, I appreciate it.
All right, Rob. Yeah, like Rob mentioned, I wanted to say real quick to everybody that we've got a great little, what we're calling a buddy build going on over at Sci-Fi Model Action. A bunch of guys got together, and they're all working on the new Mobius 132 scale Cylon Raider kit, and doing a kind of a nice little group build with that. And there's no time frame on how soon you have to get done or anything. It's not a contest or anything like that. Just a good, fun group build. So those of you who see this and are members of Sci-Fi Model Action, you might want to hop by and check that out. It's not too late to get in on it. So that'll be a lot of fun. And up next, we got Mr. Eric Hawkins. How you doing tonight, Eric?
Doing good. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Talking to you guys from Salisbury, Maryland. And as always, Mr. Board, give me my name is Kid Bash Kid. For the obvious reason, if you got a model broken, don't know what to do with it, I will tell you what you can do with that to make you a brand new ship.
Okay, Eric. Glad to have you on with us again tonight. And next we've got John, who goes by Zeke over at Sci-Fi Model Action. How you doing tonight, John?
Doing good.
I'm John from Mississippi, and I still don't have much more to say, so let's keep going.
John's currently working on a Voyager build-up that we've all been following along that looks like it's coming out really nice. And he's been jumping fully into the modeling world with both feet. He's posted some nice pictures at our Sci-Fi Model Action Google site of his workshop that he's putting together, and that's pretty cool. And up next we've got Tag, who's from California. Beautiful California weather out there. How you doing tonight, Tag?
I'm doing good. It's a little chilly, but that's okay because I'm indoors. I am tagging. After talking with Armando last week, I've started my Cylon. I'm trimming right now.
All right.
So the race is
nice.
on.
Yeah, we'll talk about that Cylon Raider here in a little bit and share. Maybe you guys can share some of the things that you're finding on that kit as you work with it.
It's big.
Yeah, it sure is. Up next, we've got our good friend Ralph Tenaglia from Boston, Massachusetts. Ralph is our resident electronics guru. How you doing tonight, Ralph?
I'm doing good, Boyd. Thanks for asking. As Boyd said, my name is Ralph Tenaglia. I'm in Milford, Massachusetts, and we have a company called Tenna Controls that does a lot of design, custom design, and standard light kits for various ships. And we can talk about things later if you have any questions.
Always glad to have you on with us, Ralph. And I'll just introduce myself again. Boyd here with TrekWorks, and I'm the operator of the Sci-Fi Model Action Forums, and I got my little YouTube channel, TrekWorks, and just hanging out with the rest of the guys here and having a good time talking models. So let's get right into the meat and potatoes tonight, guys, and talk about what we're working on. I'm going to swing all the way back over here to Armando, and looks like he's got something in his hands he's working on right now. What are you doing tonight, Armando?
Well, I'm working on this stubborn seam around the saucer of the refit. Been working on that for a couple of nights. Right now I'm sanding with 600 grit, and I'm trying to get it as smooth as possible to see if I can find any defects and then hit them with a spot putty. It's coming along. I think I'm gonna knock it down, but boy, I tell you, some of the areas the putty just will not smooth out. I guess I'm gonna have to fill it in a little bit before I sand again to get it nice and smooth. I haven't done a lot with the refit over the past week and a half or so, and I got back on it this weekend, and that's what I've been doing on that. I also, it's been a putty and sanding kind of week. This is the Cylon ring at the bottom saucer, the bottom half actually, it's not a saucer. And something I discovered, dimples on the side, which most people are already aware of. I've sanded those down and puttied them and sanded, and I got them nice and smooth now. You can see a little bit of spot putty there. Didn't need as much on this side, but it is something you need to do because they're pretty noticeable. I'm also working on how to best light the main engine, and they came up with a nice solution. I'm hoping they'll show it to you guys. I might do something like that or something similar if I can get some really high-powered lights from Jerry, which he said he might send me with an order I got coming in. So 2 kits, 2 ships, and hopefully I can get along this week and get some work done on both of them.
Excellent. Well, that's a good point that you're making about that. The rest of you guys, the rest of you that are here that are working on that same kit, is that something that you're seeing as kind of a common issue on that model? Is the little molding defect there at the rear where the near where the engine exhaust is located?
Yeah, everybody I've talked to said theirs all have the dimples, except for I think Jerry at HCA Model Works. Most people are. It varies in how bad, but mine was pretty bad, like Amondo's. It had a pretty good sized dimple in it.
Yeah, mine was too, but you know, a little squadron green, a little oval brief took care of that. It's fine now.
Yeah, this one has it too. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's right
Alrighty.
there where that border is for that back light. There's like a bulkhead right there.
Somebody ought to let Mobius know. Maybe they can rectify it.
Mobius,
Yeah,
I'm sure, already knows.
Yeah, they probably do.
it's a mold issue, and it's probably as a result of either the way the mold is set up, or they're maybe in some cases they're pulling them out of the molds a little too soon or something. I noticed that that same effect is on some of the TOS Enterprise 350 scale kits. There's some depressions on the secondary hull and on the nacelles that look just exactly like that, kind of like where the plastic like sagged a little bit, like it wasn't fully cured or something. But interesting. And you guys pretty much using all the same methods for repairing that?
Yeah, putty.
A little
I
bit of putty.
start with a squadron and then sand it down. Any residual dimples, I use the spot putty to fill them in and sand some more. Eventually, you get it nice and smooth.
Yeah, same for me.
I haven't got that far.
All right. Well, it'll be a nice little tip for people that start working with that kit. And like I said, I hope we get a lot of people in on that little buddy build we've got going on there at SFMA. That's pretty cool. And I want to encourage people to start their own buddy builds over there at Sci-Fi Model Action. If there's a couple of guys that want to get together and pick out a common kit that they want to work on, you're more than welcome to start something like that up. You don't have to get permission or anything like that. Just go ahead and knock it out. I think Armando and I are going to do another one a little bit later on. We both have the Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea Seaview kits that we're going to be working on. So if there's anybody out there that has that kit too, they'd be more than welcome to come in on that.
Are you talking about the small 4-window or the large 8?
Well, the one that we're going to be doing is the 4-window TV version with the miniature flying sub that comes with it.
Oh, so is that a large scale one or a smaller one?
It's large scale. It's I believe it's 1/128. It's a little over 3 feet long.
Oh, yeah, I'd have to get that one, but I know somebody that wants that.
Yeah, they're a little bit hard to find, but you can still find them floating around out there. They're currently out of production, but I'm kind of hoping that Mobius will bring those back. They kind of bring them out and then put them on the shelf for a little while. Same thing with the big flying sub kit. That one's not in production right now, but hopefully they'll bring it back. Okay, I'm going to kick it over to Bob. Now, Bob said he's kind of in between builds right now, but what are you going to be starting on here shortly, Bob?
Well, I finished the Mini E this weekend here. And
That looks great. Yeah, I saw the pictures of it over on the forums. That looks nice.
And then I got to start the duck here this week. That's where I'm going to start.
Oh, yeah.
The decals came in today for that. The kid had decals for the Grumman Goose instead of the Grumman Duck, and I sent them an email, and they sent me out the right decals the next day.
Okay, that's good support. Yeah.
So I'm going to start on that probably tomorrow. Other than that, I got the only other kit I got left right now is the I'm going upside down, I guess. No, they're right side up. Yeah, that movie set with the Reliant and the refit. So I'll be starting on that soon, I guess.
Did you ever finish the Protector, Bob? I don't remember if I saw you post any pictures of that or not.
I've got the wings done, and I'm kind of burning the lights in before I decide to seal it up. Because you know how that works. As soon as you seal it up, one of the lights will quit working.
Right.
So I'm gonna let that burn a couple hours the other night. I'll let it burn a couple hours probably tomorrow, and then I'll probably seal that up this week too, and then move on to the hull.
Awesome. Can't wait to see that one. That's a cool kit.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to Chris Whitford now. And Chris, what do you got on your bench tonight?
350 refit, trying to get in some side lights here, the spotlights that come off the engineering hull and shine into the pylon. Working on that, and working on a 1/60th AMT original for a article I'm writing for a website called some kind of Star Trek.
Oh, cool.
So basically trying to do that, making videos, and trying to get ready for the Heroes build.
Awesome.
When does that start?
Heroes build will officially start July 1st.
July 1st.
Yeah.
Yep, we've got that one coming up over at Sci-Fi Model Action. That's going to be a fun one. And Chris, are you building that 650 Enterprise kit right out of the box? Or are you doing any mods to it?
No, right out of the box.
Okay.
The website owner requested that the first couple that I write up about the out of the box, because people were following it. You know, they want to see. He wants to see how a model is built, and then later on, probably on another couple articles, I'll probably do some more, or we'll do some mods.
Awesome. Sounds really good, Chris. Excited about that one.
Mm-hmm.
And let's swing over to Dave now and see what Dave's got going on. Dave recently finished up his Robbie the Robot build, did a nice video about that. Got that soundboard working in that and everything. That turned out really sweet. What do you got coming on next, Dave?
Well, like I said, I was working on the radiator, and I'll have to move my camera here because it's over here on the bench. But let me put my screen up so I can see what I'm doing here. But you guys were talking. You guys are going to have to catch up because, you know, I'm like,
Holy crap.
I sealed the secondary hole and did some primary in there on the side because there's some creases along in there that you'd see once you do the wings.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm using 2 9-volts up inside there. One to run just a little board and the other one to run the lights. And what Omando is talking about with the lighting, I can't really show you because I got it sealed now, but I am getting ready to put my video up tomorrow. It'll be on there. But what I basically did is I used a LED flashlight I found, and I opened it up, and it has those really bright LEDs. And I cut 2 panels with 9 LEDs each on it, and it seems to light up the back lighting pretty well. But you turn it on, you can see the lights. I added the guns, if you can see that.
Oh yeah, you lit the guns? Yeah, I want to do that
That's
too.
Cool.
Did you drill that, or did you ask brass rod?
Actually, I made a little trench for some of it, and the rest of it's a Q-tip rod.
Yeah, there you go.
And put it back in place, and I just put some SMDs up front and just a little board that was in there. I don't know if I can, let me see if I can turn this for these back lights.
Look at that.
Wow. But those flashlights you can buy in the store they're really bright. So, and I was able to get it where it would, you know, shine up the whole thing. Half the problem was like a 10 millimeter, you had to pull it away so far just to get it to reflect the whole image there. So, I'll have more, like I say, when I put my video up, is see how you do that. But that's basically what I did there. So right now I'm just kind of been sanding so I can glue the wings on, and then it's going to be off to painting and weathering. And I guess, again, I must be going too fast.
Well, it's looking good, Dave. Nice
Thank
job
you.
on getting those lights
Good boy.
in there. They look just like they should. They're sort of a bright white, right? They're not really a blue.
Right. In the original, it was just really bright, and you know the camera washes it out anyway some, but still, it was bright, and that was the whole idea, trying to find something. And I know Jerry worked with a few different kinds of lighting that he had, and just couldn't get the setup. And I had this, like I say, one of them LED flashlights about that big, and they've got the many rows of LEDs, and they're really bright. So I just cut the circuit board for whatever I needed, hooked up, the wire, and I threw a resistor on there, and they work fine. I
Very
ran
nice.
it for quite a while, and they don't get hot or anything, and it's really bright, so it's worked out well.
Yeah, our new nickname for Dave is MacGyver.
There you go.
Yep.
McDaver.
Well,
David.
I have to admit that the Q-tip thing with Jerry at HD Model Works, that was his idea about the Q-tip cylinder being, some of the same sizes, of them guns, so you can run the wire through it. So you just had to cut it off, drill the hole in it, and go from there, put it all back together. But it's worked out well with the SMDs, and that gives a good effect. So
Yeah, it looks good.
That's nice, Dave. Yeah, that's a great tip. Don't throw away anything. Old flashlights, stuff with LEDs. You never know, man. You can even go over to the dollar store and find a whole bunch of those little kids' toys and stuff that have LEDs or fiber optics or all kinds of neat little stuff that they make, for toys that you can actually use in your model kits. So,
yeah. One article I read talked about even, like DVD players, anything. It could be like a gold mine for different types of, besides LEDs, but wiring and connectors, like
Yep.
6-pin connectors and stuff like that. So, you not instead of just throwing it away, you could probably save a little money by opening stuff up and recycling.
right. Good stuff, Dave.
Thanks.
Okay, we're going to swing it over to Rob now and see what Rob's got going on. He's working on the Raider. He's part of that Raider buddy build too. How you doing with your Raider, Rob?
Oh, not too bad. Got the priming done on it yesterday, and put a video up of that. I have a little funny story on that line too. At the end of the video, you'll see I ran out of primer, so I shut the camera off, put it away, got in my truck, and went to my local hobby store to get more primer. And on the way there and on the way back, I saw little speckles of rain on my windshield. So I'm thinking to myself, this just isn't there, man. I left the parts outside to dry because as much as I love that Tamiya primer, it definitely has a fume to it. So I left them outside to dry, and I'm thinking to myself, oh God, if it starts raining badly, then the whole priming job is going to be, destroyed. But when I got back, I looked at what I had done, and there was no damage to the priming job, so I was all good. So I got luck back. So today I'm scheming on how to light the engine myself, and again, I'm going to put another plug out there for our good friend Gary Hitchcock at ATA Model Works. He sent me 4 of these little LED beads, which will connect. Let's now. Where? I'll get one out of the bag here and show it to you. But they've got a dome section on them that looks like it'll be made up perfectly with the 2 posts that come off the clear glass plate on the engine assemblies. And from what I remember Jerry telling me, they are very bright themselves. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try and mate these up on those posts on the back of the clear part, and then I'm going to see about dusting the front of one of those plates a white and use it that way. See if I can get a gentle hot spot going. 2 gentle hot spots going on each engine.
Very good, Rob.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
The other thing I've got is I also received this baby in Battlestar Pegasus. As a lot of you may know, I did not have the time or the smart to finish her up in time for any big spring build. And as much as that kind of hurt to realize that, I really don't look at it as a bad thing. It was a very good learning experience for me. So what I've done for the past 2 days, about a couple of weeks now, I've been re-strategizing it. I've got a whole bunch, 60 plus, of these SMDs that I've got to divide between the Raider, Pegasus, and Galactica. So I've got a whole new lighting strategy for Pegasus. I think it's going to work out a lot better.
That's good, Rob. Yeah, sorry to hear it didn't work out on the first build, but hey, just get back in the saddle again and go back after it. And sometimes a new idea, a different approach, and keep on trucking, like they say. Okay, Rob, good to hear about all that. Looking forward to seeing more when you get more down the road. And let's talk to Eric a little bit and see if Eric's got any plans for doing any kind of model building here. What you got going on, Eric?
Well, just purchased 3 new models to stockpile my little small mealy stash I have. And other than that, I'm just thinking about how I'm going to do the Buck Rogers Viper. I mean, the Buck Rogers Dog Rider that I have, and get things together for that. And that's about it. And probably the next real build is going to be trying to catch up on the projects I had to put aside for a while and need to get back to them. A couple of people actually asked me about it, so I mean, I really need to get back to that. So it'll be my pocket battleship and my NX-01 with the inverted engines.
Awesome. Yep. I hope you find the time to get working on those, Eric. Would really like to see that. That's some interesting ideas you've got going on for those. If anybody's watching the Q&A, is anybody seeing any questions coming in? I'm still not seeing anything on the screen, guys. Is there anything popping up for those of you that can see it?
A couple of howdy everyone's. Matthew and Les, Model Dude.
Okay. Well, we're glad those guys are checking it out. Sorry we couldn't get you in here tonight, guys, and hopefully we'll get my screen will eventually start working here. It's just not still stuck on loading, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, we're going to move over to John now, and John's busy there working on his Voyager. How's things coming along with that one, John?
I'm working on the windows on the secondary hull. I need to get all those done so I can finish making all the modifications to the hull so I can start painting it. Determined to make every hole and modification before a little bit of paint touches it. But I just got half of this piece to finish up with the windows. But the sensor are pretty much done. I just got to drill holes where I want my LEDs to go. Yeah, this is actually ready to get painted, pretty much. Got all the photo lifts on there. And that's going to hopefully start moving along really quickly with my new workbench and all the new tools and all the new stuff I have. So that's it.
All right, John. Yeah, congratulations on getting your work area all set up. That makes it a lot nicer for working on models when you can keep everything organized and have the room that you need to do that. So that's really cool. And Tag is working on his Cylon Raider, it looks like. What do you got going on with that one, Tag?
You know, right now I'm just sanding and filing on the wings. They got a little bit of warp to them. Looks like they've got quite a bit of burring. The edges have a lot of mold release on them. But I know a lot of people wash theirs before they do anything to them, but I do all my filing and sanding and everything first before I do the washing, because that's probably the one time your hands are all over the model the most, is when you're sanding and trimming and cutting and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. You're right, you're going to be handling the model a lot, getting greasy fingerprints on it and all kinds of things, so it's really only important to make sure that the surface is really clean just before you apply any kind of adhesion promoter or primer or whatever you're starting your finish job with, so that's a good tip.
Yeah, that's the other reason why I do, because the shortest amount of time that it's clean to the time you put paint on it is probably best.
Absolutely.
But yeah, otherwise, I mean, looking at the kit, it's the first time I've really looked through it with eyes on it, and like I said, there is some bowing in the wings. I think I'm actually going to try for that seam on the bottom. I think I'm going to do some Aves epoxy sculpt. It's not big, but you can do a little bit, and make a little spaghetti out of it and run it along there, and I can squish it down in there.
Very good. Well, Tag, talk a little bit about, like, there might be some beginning modelers that are going to see this video after a while or whatever. Talk a little bit about what you're using to start with as far as prepping everything, and like what kind of sandpaper are you using? What kind of tools are you using to get the parts ready for assembly and painting?
Right. Well, I have X-Acto, the number 11 blade. I also have a flat chisel blade, which is, I use that mostly for if there's a injector marks, the injector stuff, that it's flat and you can just scrape across it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I have some nippers to get it off of the sprue. Then I have a regular nail file. I've had this nail file since I was 20, so I have no idea where I got it. But I did buy a whole bunch of the softer nail files. It's probably about a 600 grit, and that's what I use at the end to just kind of buff everything. Like if I have a burr, I'll sand it. This does have, like I said, some burring on it, and then after that, then I just go over it with this one to smooth it all out. And that's about it as far as the prepping. Checking all the pieces, you know, make sure they fit where the bows are. This one I noticed some of the male pins also have some flash on them, and some of the female have some flash on the top. So I got to take those off too, so that they fit in there good, so I don't have so much bowing.
Okay. And before you actually start applying any primer or adhesion promoter or paint on the model, you mentioned that you do that cleaning process, but do you actually do any sanding of any kind of the overall surfaces before you apply any of the paints or anything?
No, not generally. It just depends on what it looks like. The outside of this is actually pretty smooth, and the inside doesn't matter. But it's a pretty good firm plastic. It's not a soft plastic. It's got a little bit of texture to it, but most of the sanding I would do would be like you guys talk about. You know, when you get if you choose when you get your primer on, you can do a light wet sand on your primer and then put your base coat on, or you can just put your base coat on and then do a light sanding.
Yep, it gets rid of that kind of grainy look that you get from aerosol cans and things if you're using aerosol cans for primer and things like that.
Right, yeah, I like well, we talked last Monday. I was working on some stuff for Dad's train set. I used the automotive rattle can primer, the sandable, but I use that because it does have a texture, so it helps with the brick and everything. It makes it look more like brick. On the models, though, I spray through my airbrush. I spray primer. I don't spray rattle can on the model kits because it's too thick. For me, it's too thick.
Okay.
Tag, there's a question for you on the Q&A for Mark. He wants to know if you've got your HO modeling done for Sunday.
Yeah, that would be a no, because I had it ready to glue together, and Dad loved it, but he wants the doors to open automatically. So now I have to get servos and I have to get a controller board. So, and I ordered all that stuff, so that's on hold until that stuff comes in. I was trying to tell Dad, it's like, Dad, it's the late 30s, early 40s. They did it by hand anyway. They didn't have automatic doors. Like, yeah, but I want automatic doors. I'm like, okay, it's your kit, whatever you want.
There you go.
Well, you know, our dads are always pushing us to reach greater and farther heights, Tag, so appreciate it for what it is.
Oh, yeah. But other than that, it looks good. It came along really, really good. I just didn't bring it to the show because it's more sci-fi model action, but if you want to see some of it, I'll be more than happy to get it.
Yeah,
All right, hang on.
Roll it out, brother.
Oh, he's doing that. Les says howdy, everyone, and Matt says hello, and all that good stuff.
All right. Well,
Awesome.
sorry you guys couldn't make it on tonight, but glad you're watching anyway.
Put me on here. Here's the.
Look at that.
This is the back.
Wow.
That looks great. It's like the real thing.
Yeah, that automotive sandable primer really makes that brick look like brick.
Yeah, that looks great.
And I haven't done weathering on any of that yet, but I did. The roof was a bear. Like I was showing you guys, I had to actually cut some gables to get it to hold, but I did a whole bunch of weathering on the roof.
Wow, that looks real. Yeah, really nice.
Yeah, and I was telling my little brother what I use. I'll show you what I use. You can do paintbrushes and stuff like that, but me being an artist, I had these Copic markers, so you can see. Well, maybe you can see. Maybe if I turn this off, it'll show a little better. There we go. See, you can get all kinds of colors. You can get warm grays. You can get cool grays. But the beautiful part is they have brush tips.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
Nice.
yeah, and that's what I used for all the weathering on that. That I just colored some of the asphalt panels and the rust spots and all that. I did a wash on it also, but they do help with the detail because you've got that brush. It's very very fine, and you can get in there and do that. It's also what I use to paint the little different colored bricks on here after I sprayed it all one color.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah,
So what's the name of those markers again?
COPIC.
Topic.
Yeah, they're not cheap. They're about $8 a marker. And
I used to be architectural major, so I know about expensive markers and stuff like that.
The only reason, I mean, you can get the Prismacolor. Prismacolor has the markers that has the fat end and then the brush end. But I got these because you can refill them. You can just buy, when you run out, you can buy the ink and refill the marker, not like Prismacolor.
Oh,
Prismacolor, cool. Yeah, Prismacolor, you got to throw them away and get another marker.
Do they offer that as a complete set, or do you have to just sort of pick colors that you?
They do, like they do with the Vallejo model paints and stuff. You can get a starter set of warm grays, cold grays. You can get the vibrant colors. It's very, very similar to that, like they do the airbrush colors for Vallejo.
That's great.
They work really, really good. I would suggest getting it because you don't have to worry about paintbrush and water and stuff like that, and you can go a whole lot faster just choosing your colors and taking the brush tip and just slowly building it up like I did.
I'm sure they probably last quite a while too, don't they?
Yeah, I actually got these. I got these used on eBay, and I can't remember what I paid for them because it's been about 3-4 years ago that I got them. But yeah, I would check eBay first before just going and buying them brand new because it's kind of like health equipment. You know, everybody's always got something that's 2 months old.
Yeah.
And they don't use it anymore. But that's where I'm at.
That's some great info there, Tag, and just another way of looking at things and different modeling techniques. You never ceases to amaze me all the different approaches that people take to things. So that's good information.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love seeing what you guys come up with, just like with Dave and his Raider, because that'll spark an idea in my head to either do that or go further.
Exactly.
Are those markers, they like a regular ink or they like a paint?
It's an ink. I believe they're alcohol based.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they do leave a sheen. They leave a sheen to them, but once you get done and then hit it with a dull coat,
right,
you won't see it.
Those are interesting.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to swing it over to Ralph now and see what Ralph's got going on at Tenant Controls. Last time we talked to Ralph, he was working on the his brand new lighting kit for the Mobius B9 robot. How's that one coming along, Ralph?
Well, we had to put a little stop to it because last week we had a death in the family, and and then we still were planning to go to a show, as you know, to in Boston, the John B. Hines Auditorium Convention. It's a Star Trek convention, and so we were gearing up to do all that. And so the robot, we put things together. We got the LEDs in for the 2x6 breastplate across it. Now it's just a matter of going back to it and wire it, things like that. And got a long way to go. But he has been started. But like I said, with the convention and other things going on, he had to take a little bit of a back seat. Also, because it was such a quick thing, one of our customers from Australia, Keith, you guys might know about this. The Thing, I guess Fantastic Plastic is putting out this 12-inch flying saucer, and it's very close to some of the stuff we've done. So, we're working on that because it's such a quick project, just custom changing what we already have and using some different techniques to get all the lighting around the circumference of that saucer. But quite honestly, Boyd, the whole push has been to go to the Star Trek convention this weekend, and we have to be there this Friday to check in between 10 and 4 and set up. So we really got to have everything by Thursday night, and there's some things that are going to be coming in at the last minute, especially labels for our retail boxes. They're those clamshell types that you can open and close. That's where all our control instructions and parts are going in. So it's got a more of a retail store look. Cult TV Man, Steve, he'll be selling some of our TOS 1000 kits. He just ordered a whole bunch, as well as the Martian War Machine. So he'll have some of those once we get it in his hands. But anyway, yep, there's a lot of things in the pipeline, as you know. But the B9 robot is the top priority as far as a full line, production to put into production. Right now, it's still in the prototype stage. We're working on it, and we just got to get time to finish them up, basically, and not enough hours in a day.
Well, I wish you the best of luck at the show. I hope you do really great over there, Ralph. I'm sure you will, and the details that you've been sharing with me about the B9 robot, it's going to be a really exciting kit. I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be really, really nice, and I think it's going to be really popular, too. I think a lot of people are going to like that. I think the model kit itself is doing pretty well from what I've heard around the community and stuff, so that's really cool. And I'm going to show you guys what I've been working on here. I don't have it in the office here with me, but let me bring up my screen share here really quick. Let's see. Okay, are you guys able to see that?
Now we see you.
No, we see you, yeah.
It was up there, then it disappeared. Then you changed it, I think.
Okay.
Although we are glad you're working on yourself. That's a good thing.
Okay, let me try it again here. I never seem to be able to do that the way I want to. Okay, bring that up first. There we go. How about that?
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Well, I've been working on the. I finished up the secondary hull on the model and got all the Aztec painting done on that, so that I moved on to the saucer, and I probably have about, I don't know, maybe about 15 hours or so in on it now, and using the masking from Orbital Dry Dock, and you can see I'm really happy with how it's turning out. It gives the all those multiple colors, the way they overlap and everything. When I built my original, the first one, I did all that with my own mask, and it took me probably a good week and a half, and I was able to do all that with, using Brett's masks in pretty much one sitting. So it's a really nice way to be able to do it. And here's another picture where you can kind of see where I've added the, started to put on some of the markings down. You can see kind of more of an overall view of it. And I just really, really am happy with how it's turning out. And now I've moved on to the top part of the saucer and started doing the basic pattern on that. And the next video that I'm going to put out is going to show how that whole process works. But it's really pretty straightforward, and I'm pretty confident that most modelers, even just starting out, if you just have a basic understanding of using an airbrush and just taking your time applying the mask, you'll be able to get that same result. So they've really made that masking set really user friendly, and you can see the really nice result you get from that. So I'm really happy with that.
Yeah,
And
that's looking really good.
That's absolutely stunning.
well, thank you. And I wanted to mention and talk about a little bit of news from Sci-Fi Model Action. As some of you may know, we just finished up our big spring build contest, and we finally closed down and got it all closed out and selected all of our winners. I'll just go through that really quick here. I'm going to start off with our best of show was Bill Tate, who goes by Billski over in our forums, and he built the beautiful, fully scratch-built Borg alcove. And anybody who hasn't seen that, I encourage you to stop by Sci-Fi Model Action and have a look on the thread there and check that out. We've got some beautiful pictures by the modelers that have been posted in the build thread there that has some nice assorted pictures from different angles of all the different models. So congratulations to Bill on winning Best of Show. Very well deserved. He put an outstanding amount of work into that model, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And then in our box stock class, we had our own Bob Busking, who's on here with us tonight. Congratulations, Bob, for winning first place with your Atomic Airliner kit.
Yeah, good job, Bob.
Class.
Good job.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And Bob got several votes for Best of Show, too, so Bob's build was very popular with our members there. And then our modified category, we had first place was Armando, and he's with us tonight. Armando did the Millennium Falcon, the fine molds, beautiful fine molds kit. Congratulations on that. Beautiful job, Armando. And you also got a couple of votes in our Best of Show, too, so the fellow modelers over there were definitely showing their respect on that. They really appreciated the work that you did on that. And then second place in our modified category, we had Jealous with his Mars Attacks figure. That was I was really impressed with that build overall. It was one of my personal favorites. Just the amount of just how clean and beautiful his paint job was on that. I thought he completely captured the whole theme of the Mars Attacks, the look, and even the figure that's laying on the ground that the Mars Attacks guy is standing on top of. He didn't necessarily paint that to look like realistic. The colors he selected and the theme that he did for the entire layout, I thought really blended together really nice. And he was a strong contender in our modified class, and he also received a couple of votes in our Best of Show, so congratulations for that one. And third place, our very own Tag, who's here tonight, he placed third in our modified class with his classic original series Battlestar Galactica Viper. He did a great job on that Tag. He did an outstanding job on the adding your extra little detail work on that. We're on the engines and the lighting of the cockpit and all that, and really nice job on that one too.
Thank you, thank you.
And then
Thank you.
Again, mentioning Bill Tate, or Bilski again, he won our scratch build category for his Borg alcove diorama. Again, beautiful job. And then in our diorama class, we had first place was MSTOL, Mastowel, I think he goes by. He built that beautiful War of the Worlds diorama with the lighting, with the Martian war machines attacking the tanks, and he actually had some nice lighting effects of the heat ray or whatever comes out of those things, hitting the tanks. And really did a nice job with that. And then we had second place was our guy Tankton with his Rebel Base diorama, which was a really nice build too. He put a lot of detail into that. So congratulations to each and every one of you, and we really want to say a big thank you for taking part in the contest. And we've already got a lot of people excited about next year's contest. We've been kind of talking it over here, and we were considering maybe doing one again in the fall, but I think we're going to limit it to doing it once a year in the spring, and it kind of makes it more special that way, and it gives people a chance to kind of get ready for it and get prepared and get their kits selected. We kind of we had a couple guys that weren't able to finish on time, and it's too bad, but we can still look forward to seeing them finish up their builds down the road here in a little bit. We had some fantastic efforts. I mean, we had a 350 scale, basically scratch built USS Reliant that our guy third place Trekkie's working on. I think a lot of us are waiting to see how he comes out on that one. He's just done an outstanding job on it. It was too bad he couldn't get finished on time, but a lot of us are looking forward to seeing that when he gets done with it. And there's several others out there that I probably don't remember that I would like to mention, but it was just a great turnout overall, and it's really worked out nice for our community. And so good job, everybody, and we'll be doing it again next year. We'll probably have a couple of smaller group builds and things like that in between. Like Chris mentioned, we've got the Heroes build coming up here in July, and we'll probably put together a few more, but I think we're going to limit it to one as far as a big contest like we did with that one. So we're putting together all the awards and all the prizes, and we'll be getting those sent out to everybody really quick. I appreciate you guys being patient on that. It was kind of a big undertaking to get all the information gathered up and get everything ready to go. So we'll get better at that as we go along too, and be a little bit better prepared for that for next year's contest. But I just wanted to share a little bit of news with you guys that are here tonight with myself too. We're going to be I've been getting really busy with a lot of the work in the shop, and I've been kind of kicking around the idea. Some of the close guys that I talked to on the channel and stuff kind of knew about it, but I'm actually going to be moving into a shop before the end of the summer here. I've actually taken the first step of going out and started looking around at actual property and different locations that they have around town here. So we just outgrew the garage, and we're going to be moving to our own shop that we're going to set up specifically for doing models. And I've started a little program here. I'll have to wait and see what kind of response I get, but I'm going to take on a couple of apprentice people here in the shop, hopefully from somewhere around the local area here in San Antonio, and start kind of a model building program and do a little bit of training with them, and get us helped out with. We've got so much work now coming in that it's got to the point where I've had to kind of turn away some work because I don't want to overextend myself or promise something that I can't do, and so it's time to step up to the next level. So I'm really excited about that. It's been really successful here the last year and everything, and so kind of a new phase, something new to look forward to. It'll be fun to go and get a chance to set up a shop from scratch, and set it up just the way I want to. And we hope to be able to have the ability to have several projects going at the same time and all that. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I guess with that, guys, we'll send it around the room now and open it up for our Q&A. Anybody has any subjects or topics they want to bring up or questions that they want to ask the panel here? We've got an open discussion, so take it away, guys.
Well, I guess I'll start it off talking about the Heroes build. The official announcement went up last week. For those of you watching, it is we've got it set up to where real space is eligible for this build. And the period I mean for real space, it will start in 1945, specifically with Jaeger's sound barrier break. So that's where I will put a cutoff point for real space. So, but if you want to do real space, if you want to go science fiction, essentially anything that's a hero. I've had a lot of questions, someone asked me if the Back to the Future car was allowed. Yes, it's the hero car of Back to the Future. Armando asked about the Hulk. Yes, he's a Marvel superhero, so yes. Someone asked me if the Challenger. Yes, definitely yes. So, yes, anything that is a hero, real, space, or science fiction fantasy is definitely included. Myself, I'm trying to decide between 3 builds of what I'm going to do. So, right now, the front runner seems to be this little submarine right here, better known as a Typhoon class,
October.
known as the Red October. So,
very cool.
Well, if you can do that, that means I can build USS Nimitz.
yes, you can.
10 points for if you know which movie that's a hero from.
I love that movie too. So,
yeah.
Chris, you mentioned that it starts July 1st. How long does it run then? Let everybody know the time frame on it.
July 30. Oh, well, let me pull up my calendar here and I'll show you. July 31st will be the end date. Dang. As usual, we'll have a registration period which will run from the July 23rd to July 29th.
Okay.
And we'll go from there. And apparently we've got some questions that's been popping up. Kenny Lau saying, did anyone see that NASA's Artist edition of the warship might look like? They've named it the IXS Enterprise. And he's got a link for the Flickr showing it.
Yes,
yep, I've seen that. It's an interesting concept. We need to see a model kit of that, actually.
Yeah.
And the model dude has something saying next year's shark diorama. Apparently, it's got a fin in the water and somebody yelps waving their arms. So.
They got a fin in the water, and all they're doing is waving arms. They deserve to be eaten. Start swimming.
But anyway, like I said, looking forward to starting the Heroes build on July 1st, but you got to do a little registration and all that. And I hope to see a lot of entries.
Yep, I hope we get a lot of participation in that one too. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do anything for that one or not. I got a lot on my plate right now, but I'll see what I can do. I'm kind of looking at a couple kits myself. But okay, guys. Anything else they want to talk about? I've got just a little over an hour in here, so.
Well, about painting preparation for that. But I understand this, I just want to make sure it was clear. Wash, maybe a little sanding, and trimming of the plastic, and then after that, you want to do a primer or is that plastic adhesion or is that paint adhesion? Then a prime after that.
Yeah, if you're going to use the adhesion promoter, that's the first thing you want to lay down before the primer if you're going to use it.
Right, but you make sure you give it a good wash before that, right?
Right. Yep.
Okay. And then paint.
Yep. I guess while we're on the subject of paint, I saw an issue this week earlier on the Sci-Fi Model Action forums over on the Google forum. One of the guys over there, Jason M., he was building a Reliant, and he had a pretty bad issue with paint reaction on his kit that he's building. He got a bunch of spiderweb cracks in the paint. And one of the things that seems to be a common denominator out there, I don't know if you guys can comment on it or not, what kind of experience you had, but it seems like the Rust-Oleum line of paints doesn't seem to be a very good candidate for working with models. I think I've heard a couple people comment that some of the contents that are actually in that Rust-Oleum paint are fish oil. I don't know if there's if that's the case, then that could be an issue with why you might be getting some reactions with some of the other paints. You know, using lacquers or acrylics with that. I've just kind of noticed it around different forums and different stories that I've heard from people about using Rust-Oleum is that there seems to be an overall issue with that. You know, causing problems with cracking in the paint or some kind of blistering reactions and things like that. You guys have any comments on that?
Or it becomes gooey. I had a reaction where on my bird of prey where it became gooey.
Hmm.
And it seemed like it took forever to dry, and then when I tried sanding it, it was just I wound up just having to get a different kit because I don't know what what it was from. It was just primer, and then I used Rust-Oleum, but it had a reaction with the primer or something, or with the styrene, and it just was like real gooey. The only way I know how to describe it.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that horror story quite often. It seems like, and I don't know. Maybe that stuff's only good enough for spraying over old rusty lawn furniture or something like that. That's kind of what they originally came out with it for, but it doesn't seem like it's very practical for using with models. I know it's tempting to use because it's really low cost. You go to the like Lowe's or Home Depot, and you look at it on the shelf, and it's some of the least expensive paint that you can find. So maybe that's why. But just seems to be kind of a common theme out there. A lot of people having trouble with it. Might be something you want to stay away from. Now, go ahead, Chris.
It's the fish oil. It's the fish oil, and it's not made to be used on styrene plastic. You look on the ingredients, or not the ingredients, the directions, it clearly tells you it's not made for styrene. So I do not understand why people are continuing to use Rust-Oleum after all the warnings we've said on this program, on forums, on everything else, why they continue to use Rust-Oleum.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, some of the other stuff that's mentioned out there is Krylon, and personally, I haven't used a lot of the Krylon paints. I've used a lot of their clears. In fact, I'm really happy with their clears. They have 3 different kinds of clears that you can get. You can get flat, satin, or gloss, and they carry those at my local Walmart. And I've used all 3 of them, and I've really been impressed. Their flat is not quite as flat as your Tester's Dull Coat. Their flat is more like a satin, if you want to call it, and that's what I wound up using on my Enterprise refit that I'm building right now to seal in the Aztecs once I finished with them and did the decals. And I'm really happy with it. It gave me the same kind of appearance as the, with maybe not quite as glossy as the Future floor treatment, kind of in between that and a dull coat. But then testing out their satin, it's more towards a gloss, and then if you go with their gloss, of course, it's like a really, really high gloss that you probably wouldn't want to use on an Enterprise model, more like a car model or something like that, because it's really glossy. But so yeah, I mean the Krylon stuff. I did use some Krylon paint on the floor of the Jupiter 2 when I built it. That they had that exact shade of brown I was looking for, that kind of coffee brown. And I sprayed that on there, and it worked really good. I used the regular Duplicolor primer and then laid it on top of it, and I had no problem at all. It dried really fast. And then I sprayed it down with Tester's Dull Coat over that and didn't get any reaction afterwards. So I have to give Krylon a thumbs up so far. I haven't had any issues. You guys?
They have a line of paint called Fusion, which is designed specifically for use on plastic. And it's really good stuff.
Yeah.
I'll have to look for that and see
the
if they
only
carry that.
downside is it doesn't have. They're getting more and more colors all the time, but there's not, but if it has to have a color that you need, that's great. Otherwise, I mean, they only have like 1 red and 1 yellow and 1 green, and they have several different grays and earth tones. But yeah, it's got a really, really fine ground pigment. It's got the fine fan spray nozzle on it, you can turn.
Do they have a primer?
It's the same nozzles duplicate colors has on it, and it just does a real good job for the Crayon Fusion. But I like the Duplicolor a lot. Same thing. If you find the color you need, Duplicolor is my first choice for a spray can.
All right, good info there, Bob. Tag was asking you if they make primer in that Fusion line.
Yeah, do they have a primer?
I don't remember, but you probably wouldn't need it. It's all really opaque stuff.
Okay, very good.
You could Google Krylon Fusion and go to their website and see if they have a primer. I don't think they do, but they've got whites and grays, and so you could
Okay.
come up with a primer color if you needed a primer color for cover up. They could go under a light color or something.
Well, I mean, like most modelers, I mean, myself included, I'm always looking for, you know, good quality and a good price. And, you know, with the Tester's Dull Coat, the only thing, you know, it comes in such a small can, and for the size of the can, it's kind of expensive. I mean, at my local hobby store here, I'm paying like $8 a can for it, and I go through that stuff like crazy. I mean, like one can on one of these big 350 models is in, and it's gone. And so, you know, I thought I'd try out the Krylon, and like I said, you know, I tested it on a couple things first, and I was really, really happy with it, and no issues at all. It dries really fast, and it's got an adjustable nozzle on it too, so you can set it for fine or coarse spray, and worked out really good.
I used it on my NX01, and it was great. Didn't have any issues.
Which one did you go with, Armando? The satin or the flat or the?
I used the gloss. I used the gloss when I initially painted decals on, and then afterwards, and it was fine. And just enough of a gloss. It didn't look too shiny, but it was. That's what I coated it with.
That's good to hear. Yeah, and I mean, I've used both acrylic and lacquer paints. You know, I did my base color on my refit in acrylic, and then the iridescent paint that I'm using is lacquer based, and I sprayed the Krylon over that, and it didn't react with either one of them. So, good news there. Looks like Bob's showing a picture of something there. What do you got there, Bob?
That's a locomotive that I painted with the Krylon Fusion, both the black and the yellow.
Wow, that looks good.
It's straight out of the can.
Yeah.
You can bring it in. It's a nice smooth paint.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's straight out of the can.
There's a question for Dave.
Okay, we got a question for Dave. What's the question?
Dave, Wes is asking, McShaver, are you going to set up a sound chip to work your lasers off on your Cylon Raider?
Oh, probably not, being I've already got it closed up. Right now, I just went with the light function. I really didn't think about that.
I didn't hear the beginning of that. Was he asking if you're going to be able to shut them on and off, Dave? Is that what the question was?
No, he was talking about a sound chip.
Oh, sound with the lasers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, probably not on this one, because, like I say, I've already got sealed up, and I really didn't think about it. I was just looking at lighting the guns, and
that's still going to be really cool.
Yeah, these guns do not go together very well at all.
Well, yeah, I'm sure every model kit, needs a little bit of work, and that just something we work through. I haven't built a lot of Mobius kits, but the Mobius kits that I have worked on so far, I've been really pleased with how they fit and everything. But
well, this is just the same old. Anytime you have two halves of a round piece on any model kit, pretty much, there's always that seam, and there's always a problem with that.
Right.
And these, one side of the rings are larger than the bottom half of the rings, I definitely think I'm going to go with rod, though, to do the barrels.
Some brass rod or some plastic rod?
Some brass, because I think I'm going to put some light in there. And plus, I have another thing, you can go on eBay and you can get bag o brass and aluminum rod pieces. You can get a bag of them, all different sizes, for cheap. I mean, I have some long rod too that I used for the guns on the Viper, and so I think I'm gonna. It just looks better to me. I think it looks really good because even though they did do us a favor by molding, you see. You see that? They did mold to where the gun barrel parts are solid. So all you have is just the seam from the two parts of the mold. But I just like the brass tubing because it looks better. It looks almost perfect. Plus, if I want to light it, it's going to make it easier, I think.
Mm-hmm. I did see where I think it was posted on a couple of the forums. There's a guy out there, I can't remember who it is, but there's a guy out there that's doing the Enterprise refit, and he did a nice little trick with for lighting the floodlights that are coming out of the nacelles that point at the saucer and the secondary hull. He used some hollow plastic tube for acting as sort of a focus point. He mounted LEDs inside those and then trimmed, and showed where he had them aimed a certain way. If you look at the way he's got it inside the nacelle, you've got one that faces straight forward towards the saucer, and then you've got another one that kind of crosses over it and aims down like that to light up the side of the secondary hull, and he did a really nice job with that. And the thing that I thought was nice was using the plastic like that. If you wanted to use like an SMD or whatever in there, versus using like a brass tube, you wouldn't have to worry about any kind of conductivity or anything like that, causing a short or something, putting a bare SMD in there.
Right.
And so that was a really cool idea. Plus, it's, plastic is a lot easier to cut and trim and make it, he mentioned how he had to try, experiment with different lengths and everything to get it focused. And he had a couple of pictures of how it looked on the model, and it really did a nice job with like giving you that round, focused lighting effect on the side of the hull, which I thought looked really, really good.
Right.
I think it's over on the Sci-Fi Model Action Google website is where I saw it, but that was a really neat idea. Okay, guys, anything else? Anything else you want to bring up? I'm sorry, I still can't see the Q&A thing, so I don't know if any questions are coming in. I saw something pop up on chat, but I can't see it here. So
John said he
John?
was going. He was leaving.
Yeah, he was not feeling great.
okay.
Kenny Lau says Krylon UV resistant clear is parentheses matte acrylic coating spray is really good. But then again, Hobby Lobby $7.99, then take off 40%
Okay. So there's a discount on Krylon paint at Hobby Lobby. Is that what he's saying?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have something I might want to throw out there. A little heads up. I am starting to put together videos because I've got a handy little camera, and I've got a few videos up on the channel on YouTube, Destroyed Viper. Now, the question I have is, in editing them and putting together multiple different clips, do you guys use what kind of program for that? I remember that I had with a freeware download. I am really, really weary of downloading freeware stuff. So I'd like to get programs that help me put my videos together in a little better fashion.
Well, I'm using the one I mentioned before. It's called Video Pad. It's a free download. They have both a free version and a paid version. The paid version, you're only getting a couple of little extra effects with that, which allow you to do chroma key, which is green screen filming and things like that. So if you just want to do basic video editing, it's a great program. I've had no problem with it, and you know, it's not bundled with anything else. Of course, anytime you download anything now, you have to look at, when you're accepting terms and everything like that, you have to make sure you look at that little menu and see if there's anything in there checked that says, okay, you're downloading like a new toolbar or a new add-on or something like that. You just got to turn all that stuff off, uncheck it before you download it. But I mean, I've downloaded it on both of my machines and I've had no problems with it. It works great, and it gives you the ability to do sound editing, fade in. There's a bunch of different optional fade in and fade out effects you can use. Your own subtitles, putting in you know, titling at the beginning, things like that. So it works really good.
Well, shucks. Looks like I've got it here. All right, crap. Oh,
It also has an option in it where you can set up all your different output resolutions, or if you want to create an AVI, an MPG, or, you know, different type of file. AVI seems to be the most friendly file for uploading on YouTube, and they also have a function in there where you can go in and set up your YouTube account so that when it's done processing, it will automatically upload it to your YouTube channel for you, which is kind of nice because I've been asked before, you know, hey Boyd, you're posting new videos at like 4 o'clock in the morning, man. You're a night owl. Well, I mean, I'm a night owl, but it's my program that's uploading the file in the middle of the night. It's not me. Sometimes it's me, but most of the time it's
just go to bed and
exactly, yeah. Because, I mean, if you're doing high resolution video using, if you're using that JVC camcorder, you can expect that video pad creator, for every 10 minutes of video you're going to produce, you're talking about an hour and a half of processing time, depending on how good of a processor you have on your computer. So if you shoot 15 minutes of video
at 720,
yeah, at 720, it doesn't even make any sense to upload a YouTube video at 1080p because 90% of the people don't have a connection capable of watching it at 1080p. It'll start chopping all over the place.
Plus, I don't think they would even notice. They don't notice on their TV, so they're not going to know, because almost all broadcast is 720, even though everybody's got a 1080 TV.
Right.
You won't notice it.
So if you upload it, you know, to a 720, if you do, for example, like a 15-minute video, and by the time your video pad processes it, it's going to take 3.5 or 4 hours for it to process it, and then probably another 30 or 40 minutes to upload it to YouTube, depending on what kind of connection you have. So you can wind up spending quite a bit of time with it, but again, if you link it all together and set it up, you know, you can have the program do the uploading for you and all that. So once you get it going, you just can let it go and it'll do its own thing.
Hey Boyd, I got a question for you since you brought up Video Pad. What about, do you still use, or have you ever used that Movie Maker?
Windows Movie Maker?
Yeah.
Well, I do sometimes, Ralph. Again, on my main machine in here, I'm still on XP.
Okay.
So the Movie Maker version I have is a little bit older. I know they now have what they call Movie Maker Live, which is I think on Windows 8 and Windows 7. It has more options, but like when I'm creating like my title effects and stuff like that, I still use Windows Movie Maker for that. And you know, there's a patch if you're on XP or an older machine. They do make a patch that allow, because the original Movie Maker didn't allow for HD video.
That's
it
right.
It would only do it in regular. But they do have a patch you can look up, and it's just a file that you download, and you go into your Windows Movie Maker directory and just paste that file in there. And then when you go back to Movie Maker and look in the menu, you're going to see now that you have an option to do a what is it? 1280 by 9 something or whatever, 720p basically
Hmm.
output or file.
That's what I use as the Windows Movie Maker Live on all mine. And then like you do it, send up a slideshow from your photo files, it automatically loads it into that Movie Maker.
Right.
Windows. So.
Yeah. There are a few different programs out there. I mean, I looked at some of the pay programs out there for doing video editing, like Vegas Pro, and they were like $500 or $600 for that program. I mean, those are like professional quality where you can do animated effects and all kinds of. I didn't need that. But
yeah, when I was doing my, I was putting together all our old home movies from the family. Dad had them all put on digital, so I was putting them all together. And Movie Maker is easy because it's drag and drop, and then once you get it to where you want it, you can drag it into what do I use? It's Cyberlink's Power Director.
Right.
And then that gives you the more options as far as, if you want whites on your scene changes or title effects and stuff like that, you get a few more options. But the Movie Maker is really quick as far as just getting a rough cut, drag and drop, cut where you want it, and then drag and drop. It's because it's just simple. You don't have to look at all these buttons and the timeline and everything on the other programs, the more complex ones.
Well, the only issue that I've seen with the Video Pad program, for whatever reason, every HD video that I load up on there, whether it's from my Canon camera or my JVC, the sound doesn't link up with it right. In other words, the sound plays at like regular speed, but the video is moving like a little bit slow. And as you go through the segment, you see where they start slowly drifting farther and farther apart.
Yeah,
so what I have to do is I go in and there's under effects. When you look under the effects drop down, there's one called speed, and I have to set it on 110%. And for whatever reason, I do that, and then you'll see this green processing bar when it's all done. It only takes a few minutes extra long to do that, but when it's done, all of a sudden everything is all linked up and perfect. So I have no idea why it does that. I even tried converting the raw file out of the camera to an AVI before I put it in there, and it still does the same thing. I don't know why. It's one little glitch that they have in the program, but other than that, I mean, it works great. And you've got like for your wipes and your fade in and fade outs, they've got several different options. You can do the basic fade to black and come back, or you got the spinning thing, or the up and down wipe, or all the different effects and everything. So that you get all that with the free version. It's not worth it buying the pay version though, because unless you're going to do green screen stuff.
Right. But you double check to make sure your frame rate on your camera and the frame rate setting on your software is the same.
Yeah, I've tried everything I know.
That is weird because most of us probably 23.97 or something like that frames per second.
Yeah, and like I said, the sound is fine, but you can see like the first time I noticed it, I was editing the first video I think I shot when I started using my JVC, and I noticed that like when I put something down on my bench or something, it made a tap sound, and you saw my hand put it down on the bench, and then like a second or two later the tap sound came. I couldn't tell that my voice was off because I wasn't showing my face. I was just showing something on the bench, and then it's like, hey, that sounded like a delay, Then there came a little segment later where I had my face and my mouth. It looked like a foreign dubbed film where I was
Godzilla
talking.
movie.
Yeah, and it wasn't lining up right, and I was like, well, that's goofy, And it took me a while to figure out what it was, and I finally found that little option in there for the speed adjustment. And once I did that, and it took me a while to figure out exactly which one was the right one to get it to work right. And now all I have to do is put it on 110%, and it will sync it up perfect every time. But
well, that is weird.
Just one of those things, yeah.
It must be. Yeah, you must be right. It must be just because of the free part. Because using the power director when I use it, I mean, everything's synced. Plus, you get a line for your sound and you get a line for the video, so you can
Right.
always move one or the other if they're not syncing correctly. I've never tried what you're talking about.
Yeah, VideoPad also has a, it's got all the audio stuff in there, so you can put your regular sound in there. You've got either three or maybe even four different sound tracks you can put in. So you could put your regular sound in there. You could
Right.
also put your narration in there if you wanted to narrate over top of that, and also have maybe some music going in the background or one more track. So you got like 4 tracks of audio that you can put in.
As long as it's royalty free.
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, somebody will get mad at you and boot you off, report you to YouTube police.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. I've seen a lot of guys.
You've even
that
got to be
reload.
careful with. I've had a couple of my videos that I had people write to me and say, "Hey, I can't see it over here in the UK," or it seems like UK and Germany are the 2 highest where they really, monitor that stuff. Because I've just had my stereo in my shop playing in the background a couple times and it's rejected it. It's like, come on, man. I mean, the noise of my air conditioner is blowing over top of it, and I'm talking over top of it. No one's gonna ever be able to use that for like a.
Plus, who in the world doesn't like Pink Floyd? Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, there is not a bad Pink Floyd album out there.
Right.
Sometimes it's just the artist too, because I've got some videos where it just popped up and said you're using copyrighted music, and then on the page it actually puts a link to the artist's album and stuff where you can find it and download the song.
Right,
Yeah.
the iTunes thing or the Google thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could see if I was, overlaying the raw file like right into my download. But background music, I mean, that's getting pretty picky, and so I'm always really careful now. Like if I'm going to do a video, I make sure I turn my. And it seems like there's a volume level where there's a threshold. I can have it on, but as long as it's not too loud. If I have it just a little bit too loud, it'll pick it up and it'll say, okay, people in the UK or Germany can't watch this video or whatever, so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the NSA got a side business going on now.
Yeah.
Well, I see a lot of guys now, they are using the Creative Commons tagline on their stuff, on their sounds, background sounds.
I found several websites that have a huge selection of royalty-free music, and they've got it all organized into categories too. If you do want to use music, you can.
It does help. I have to admit that you notice it if it's not there. It's like elevator music. You go into an elevator, you'll notice if there's no music, but if there is music, you won't even notice.
Right. Yeah, they have it all broken down into categories too, whether it's techno, rock, theme. They even have special theme music, like for action scenes or for drama scenes. And I mean, there's a couple of really good ones out there where they've got it all organized and everything, and they're just regular MP3 files that you can download, and they're all different lengths. You can even find ones that loop, so if you're doing a long segment, you just want it to loop and all that. So.
Hey, Boyd, do you remember what that site was or is?
I'll send you the link to it, Ralph, when I get off of here. I'll send you an email to it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's got to be several of them out there that are just background music, all royalty-free stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yep. They even have a selection of music right on YouTube. If you look on your upload options, they have their own music that you can select from.
Oh, okay. Never paid attention to that.
Yeah, it's really generic, but that's if you just want something there, it works, and it's good to go because they have it on their own site. So.
Well, maybe you should try some of those when you're doing your builds, Boyd. You get that dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Gluing something together or something like that. Put a little.
Well, it kind of sucks because I have some of my favorite music that I always like to have. The guys that hear me on TeamSpeak and everything, they know I've got music on all the time. I love rock music and stuff, and I just get into a better groove when I'm working when I've got some music on. Some people say they don't want to have music or any kind of noise going on. It bothers them, but I like to have music on, and it's I have to always stop and think, oh shoot, I got to turn that off before I shoot this little video clip or whatever. I'm going to get busted, and It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, you remember when it was rock music and now it's the oldies channel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Old light rock and roll. I'm like, man, I remember when that came out the first time. It wasn't
Yep.
light rock and roll.
Yeah.
Well, it's sad now because I've actually heard an elevator music version of a soundbar song in an elevator.
Yeah.
I think the worst one I ever heard was an elevator music version of Muskrat Love by the Captain and Tennille.
Yeah.
If the song wasn't bad enough in its original form.
Hey, I like that song.
Yeah, wait till you hear Aerosmith's "Love in an Elevator" in Muzak form.
Oh man.
It's hard to recognize.
Yeah.
You're like, I know that tune. What is that?
Well, believe it or not, they actually got different music. They got music with vocals. The thing that I hate is when they get one of these little offbeat bands that sing a hit song. You're like, I don't remember.
Like cover band.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they used to do on the old K-Tel records, if you guys remember those back in the
Oh yeah,
70s
K-Tel
and
Records
80s.
presents.
Sometimes you got the record and you got the original artist, and sometimes the song was chopped down a little bit in length, but then other times you bought the record thinking, hey, I'm going to get all these hits, and it's like, man, that's not even the original band singing that, and these guys suck.
Exactly. I got a collection of CDs like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of which, R.I.P. to Casey Kasem. I'm sure we all grew up with Casey Kasem.
That was sad. Well, here in San Antonio, they have a radio channel called Kono 101. Well, they broadcast both on FM and they still broadcast on their old school AM channel. I think it's on 1200, and they broadcast the same broadcast on both. But every Sunday night at 7 o'clock in the evening, they do the whole Casey Kasem top 40, and it's all been digitally remastered.
Right.
And they just do a different year each weekend, like you might hear 1974 one weekend, and you might hear 1980 the next weekend, and it just brings back really good memories whenever I hear that. And he just was such he was like the Bob Ross of DJ guys. He was so easy to listen to, and
Dick Clark of the radio.
I tell people that all the time. That hey, did you know that he did Shaggy's voice on Scooby Doo? They're like, what? I didn't know that. I was like, man, everybody knows that.
Didn't he also do Robin and the Super Friends?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he did.
He did a couple of them. Yeah. That's when we know we're getting old, guys. When all of the people that we watched and listened to are, starting to go on now. It's kind of a reality check once in a while when you see that. So I was sad to hear about that.
Yeah, because I mean, his voice has been in my life, all my life, because I can always remember the top countdown, Casey Kasem.
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember the first late-night rock and roll show, the Midnight Express. You guys remember that one, where they had all the rock bands on?
Don Kirshner?
Yeah.
Rock concert, yeah.
Yeah. Boy, it was so hard. It was so hard to stay up late, though, to watch that. No sleeping and everything.
Yeah, but whoever was big, they always had them on their show. They got all the top bands on there at that time, and
and it was all lip sync.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know it at the time, but now when you watch them now, it's all lip sync. You can tell.
One thing I remember from the Midnight Express was, I'm a big fan of the movie Christine, and the car and the whole thing. And when that movie came out, I'm trying to think what year that was. 1983, 1984.
Somewhere there in the early 80s.
They had a contest on the show. They had two cars that were left over from the movie that were like the hero cars, the ones that were like cherry, because a lot of the cars they used in the film were just fixed up on the outside or whatever, and they didn't have any interior in them, or just basic. And they had two cars that were like perfectly restored, and they gave them away on that. They had a contest on that Midnight Express. Well, somebody in Wisconsin won one of the cars that lived maybe like not more than 20 miles from where I grew up. And I remember on our local newscast, they did a whole thing on the guy that won it, and they went out there and saw the car. They showed the car in his garage, and I was like, wow, that's really cool, that he won that Christine from the movie, all fixed up and all restored. I often wonder whatever happened to that car, if he still has it, or if he sold it, or what happened to it. But that was pretty cool.
Well, I tell you what, that Charger they had in there too. That
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty sweet. Okay, guys. Well, I think it's about time to wrap things up here. I'm showing 9:45. I don't have anything else. I'll toss it around the room one more time and see if anybody has anything. If not, we're going to go ahead and call this one a wrap.
Pretty much good.
Okay.
I got something for you real quick.
Okay, Bob, go ahead.
Let me start the screen share here. In case anybody was interested in how when I took these pictures, the backgrounds are actually right off of NASA's Google Plus website.
Wow,
the
cool.
Goose.
So
And I
those are
actually
real
put it-
space scenes.
That's real space.
That's
That's
neat.
actually the moon, and that's the Earth. And I just actually sat the model in front of the computer screen. And took the
There you
picture.
go.
Wow. That looks good.
Were you hanging it with wires, or did you?
No, I just photoshopped
Okay.
the rod out down here. Just did
Okay.
a clone over it. You can see the lines there, where the lines disappear.
I thought for
Oh,
sure
no.
you were going to say, and prints are available for.
No. But just on the Google Plus
He just gave you an idea, Bob.
NASA site there, they just loaded with pictures of space like that, and that's what I did. These were the moons of Pluto.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good idea.
I want to learn about Photoshop and all that. I know nothing about. I can't even use Microsoft Paint. I'm really not versed in that at all. I'd love to learn how to do some of
Photoshop
that.
it. You can see right here as I zoom in on it. I just colored over the post, the rod.
Yeah.
So that's just
Looks good.
Speaking of software, have you guys noticed that the things they used to include in computers, now you have to go to like Microsoft off-site to do anything with it? Like I used to be able to crop pictures and do things like that. Now I have to sign up for something from Microsoft.
Yeah. It's cloud computing, man. They're trying to
everything
move
is on live, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
I'm still on Windows XP, so I'm back in the dinosaur days.
Well, when you get
Good
to
things,
Windows,
Boyd. Don't worry about it. It's
Yeah.
yeah. Just make sure you get the latest updated version of Windows 8, which I think is 8.1 now.
I don't know. I'm not sold on that. I'm thinking when I set my new machine up, I might go with Windows 7. I've heard bad things about Windows 8.
Yeah, that's what I did when I built mine. I went and got 7. I didn't want to take a chance on 8.
Right, because 8, when it was originally designed, was designed for a touch screen interface. It's not even designed for basic PC function, and that's what's causing a lot of the problems, is what I've heard. And I just want to make sure that I'm on a 64-bit operating system. You know, that's double the pipeline of what I'm on right now, so that should make a big difference.
Yeah, that's what mine is, and I've had it a little over 2 years since I built this computer, and it's been running 7. I haven't had a glitch one.
Yep. I've got 7 on my laptop out in the shop, so I'm used to using it, and I think that's what I'm going to go with. I hope I can. I mean, you can still buy Windows 7 pretty readily, right? I mean, they're not hard to find. And
it's just hard to find it on a computer now. I mean, if you're building one, then it's not going to matter. But as far as buying a computer, a laptop, or a PC, it's just harder to find it already installed.
Right.
Yeah, I've never bought an off-the-shelf computer. I think it's a huge ripoff. You know, building your own computer, you can do it for about half the cost, and you can get.
Well, mine costs about $2,000, but everything I've got in it is high end. I mean, I've got 32 gigs of RAM, and I've got 2 video cards, 2.4 gigs each.
Dang.
Yeah.
What the heck are you doing with that thing? Making movies?
Well, yeah, that and but I was doing graphic design, and I was doing stuff.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and Flash and stuff. So basically, it's like a high-end gaming computer is what it is. So it'll handle all the bandwidth and the video and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was a huge gamer for years, but I just don't even have no time to do it anymore, and so I'm just looking for a basic, solid operating system that. You know, with a strong processor and some good RAM and everything, and I'll be all set.
So you're
So
going to start. You're going to do motherboard and processor and all that. Look into the Sabertooth motherboards. I got that because it actually has a whole cover that goes over the top of the motherboard and runs fans through that cover, like an air conditioning vent. Yeah, and it keeps that board cool. Plus, it keeps the dust off all the components in the board.
Well, that's nice. Yeah. Well, yeah,
it works really good.
Whatever board I get, I'm going to stick with. I've always been an Intel. I'm not big on AMD.
This is an Asus.
Intel. Okay.
Asus is really good too.
Yeah.
But yeah, Intel with an Intel chip, you're not going to have any problems with that. But Asus is a little bit cheaper than the Intel because Intel's got a name now, so
right.
A lot of times their boards are a little bit more for the same thing.
Yep.
But I wish you lots and lots of fun because I will never build another one ever again.
Well, I've built quite a few of them, and I'm going to reuse my case here. This little case that I have is it's actually an AMD case. They call it their Micro Cube. It's a small little case that you can actually pick it up, and it was meant to be sort of portable, and it fits in my little cubby hole here next to me really good. So I'm going to use a micro ATX board, and
well, then you'll have to watch your video cards because your higher end video cards are too big for those cases.
Yeah.
They won't fit because they're about 12 to 14 centimeters long.
Right.
That's how I started.
I've got one of the big NVIDIA cards in there now that fits. It doesn't leave much room to spare, but I got it in there, so I hope I'll be all right. But we'll cross that bridge.
The EVGA cards, they're the best on the market as far as graphics, being able to display graphs. Yeah, NVIDIA EVGA card.
Sounds good. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it a wrap. I enjoyed having you guys on tonight. Thanks for sharing all the information. Before I go, Dave, I wanted to mention I got something to talk to you about. If you have a minute, you can stop by on TeamSpeak after we're done here.
Yeah, I was going to.
Okay, and so yeah, thanks for sharing everything tonight, guys. Beautiful work you're doing. Appreciate you giving the advice for our fellow modelers, and we'll see you guys again next week. Until we do, happy modeling, everyone, and good night, John Boy.
Good
night, John Boy.
Here.